Hey guys, it's your legal bestie, attorney Simone. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know where you're going to be watching from. We are so excited to see this verdict. I'm trying to see if I can there we go. Also stream it to my Instagram as you guys come on in here. Insta is being so stupid. Let's see. Come on in, guys. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay. Oh, I was in. Okay. Let us know where you're going to be watching us from. Here we go. Just one second. I'm also going to stream this to my okay. I'm also streaming it to my Insta, so I'm just trying to make sure it's showing up there because I don't think it is. But we're going to do a quick recap as we are waiting. There we go. Here we are. As we're waiting, I'm going to wait for a quick recap. Here we go. Live video. Yep. Let's put it in ASAP Rocky verdict and recap. Oh, I'm hearing some sound. There we go. Okay. Boom. Okay, it should be on both. All right. The court's back in. Let me see who we got here. Who do we got? Hey, y'all, come on in. Come on in. Now, I can't see the Insta comments from here. Oh, actually, I'm going to put my phone on silent and then I can. Let me start by trying to give a quick recap for those who might be new. Oh, we need this recap. Now I'm hearing a change in sign. You're watching from Bryan College Station. Oh, thanks so much. So you are in Texas as well. Great. Yep. So the jury's going to be coming on in at 4 p.m., which is 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. I wanted to join a little bit early. Great. So that I can give a quick little recap for those who are new. Baby, we're going to have some fun. I'm nervous too. There we go. We want to do a quick little recap for those who are maybe familiar with my channel, but not so much the case. So ASAP Rocky is facing 8 years in prison. Now, initially we said 24. That was the max potentially he could get. But 8 years is what the state is asking for. Now, there are only 2 charges on the table, and that's 2 charges of aggravated assault with a pow-pow. Correction, aggravated assault with a semi-automatic pow-pow. What that means is they have to prove 2 things. They, as in the state, has the burden of proof to prove it was a real gun, not a prop gun, and that Rocky was not practicing self-defense. If they cannot prove both without a reasonable doubt, Rocky must be found not guilty by this jury. Now, our first challenge is that the prop gun, so Rocky alleges that it was not a real gun, it was a prop gun, and that the prop gun he obtained just months before from the Rihanna music video set. Rocky called 2 witnesses to the stand, one of whom said he saw Rocky with the prop gun on the day of this incident. Now, then we've got the victim, Relly. Relly took the stand. He was a very unsympathetic victim. Okay. He's also suing Rocky for $30 million as a result of this accident. He's claiming that his good old knuckles were grazed, and that as a result, that's why, he's suing and that he wants to pursue criminal charges. However, there were audio recordings admitted into evidence where he specifically acknowledges to one of the other ASAPs that, hey, I had to get a lawyer in this case because without a lawyer, it would be considered extortion. He also said he wouldn't come to trial if Rocky would just pay him his money. He told others he was going to be rich. And the sole evidence that it was a real gun are two gun shell cartridges that the victim himself turned into the police. What's also interesting is right after this incident, okay, so the victim's alleging Rocky shot at him multiple times. Rocky's claiming it was self-defense, that Relly and him were in a disagreement. They were in an argument. Relly jerked him up. Relly started beating everybody up. He punched one of the guys' ills multiple times. And Rocky's claim is that the alleged injury to the knuckles was or could have been obtained by punching ills 3 times. In addition, Relly did not go to the police right after this happened. Instead, he went back to his hotel room, called a civil attorney that takes cases like these, and said, hey, I want to sue Rocky. He shot at me. Allegedly, that attorney told him, I can't take your case unless you make a police report. And it was at that time he then returned to the scene of the incident and allegedly looked around for the shell casings and found them. But interestingly, the police responded not because Relly called them, but because people in the area heard gunshots. The police searched the same area that Relly claimed to have found the shell casings. Police searched it first. No shell casings were found. Relly allegedly found them, but again, didn't go to the police that day. Instead, he went to the cops 2 days later after flying from LA, where this happened, to New York, walks into a police station, hands them shell casings and said, I want to file a report. Rocky shot me. Also, he didn't go to the ambulance. He didn't call an ambulance or go to a hospital or see a doctor at this point either. Allegedly, it was not until a police officer at the New York City Police Department said, hey, you should probably go to the hospital for a case like this. And then he went. I don't believe any hospital records were admitted into evidence, but the state was also saying, hey, you don't even have to believe that the knuckle injury came from the pow pow. And that is true because aggravated assault with a pow pow simply means someone pulled out a real pow pow and threatened you with it. That's it. We got a question here. Why wasn't Relly charged with assaulting those guys? Because the prosecutors will never, they want a clean witness. So if a prosecutor does that, they're pretty much automatically going to lose. A prosecutor in a county will never both charge the victim and charge the defendant. They always pick. And because they would have found that the more dangerous crime would have been the aggravated assault with the pow pow, that's why Relly was not charged. In addition, Relly alleged that one of the other guys pulled out a knife. That guy wasn't charged. That was interesting to me, but I think that was a component of that was no evidence of that either. Fake headline, no verdict is in. Okay. All right, Miss Myrna, you don't think the verdict's in? Guess you can check back later. But that's actually what the LA County District Attorney's Office has released. So me, as an attorney and an officer of the court, I'm going to go by what the court says. I'm going to go by them. And don't forget, guys, you can check out my page. Oops. You can head to my page, SymoneRedwine.com, if you'd like to schedule a consultation with me. You can click Book Hire Symone. I have consultations starting at just $149. You can get on my calendar here. I help with legal strategy, everything from small claims court to evaluating, I think I want to get a divorce, to a variety of things across the nation. You can schedule here. In addition, check out my book, Background Checks 101, The Beginner's Guide to Discovering Who You're Really Dealing With. That's only $19.99, and that's available here too. We are back to waiting. I heard a little bit of noise as though they're, working on coming on back, but I wanted to make sure that I gave you guys a recap. Hit that like button, please. Hit that like as you're coming on in here. That helps YouTube decide to suggest this to others. So hit that like. If you're watching from from Insta, we welcome you as well. I'm going to check some of the comments from Insta, see if I can answer any questions y'all got. rolling in from over there. Let's see what we got here. What we got? Let's see. Am I live? Let me see. Did it go live? All right. After I go live, when you use IG Producer to preview the video, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Yes. All right. Gotcha. So we are now officially live on Insta and we are live on YouTube. You can participate on either. Okay, can't post comments in designation. Yeah, so let me see. Why sue him? I'm reading some of the comments. Now, if you're on Instagram, you may not see the YouTube comments. Feel free to come on over. Come on over to YouTube because that's where I make my money, and I'd rather not have to sell Gucci. Rather not have to sell Gucci. So I really appreciate you guys watching. Not above it. Well, maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit. I wouldn't do that because my father is still alive and he'd have a whole heart attack. Can't do that. Why sue him? It's not illegal to get paid when wronged. That's why. Okay, I think we need to talk about this more on this channel. So many are saying, hey, the civil case is not wrong. If anyone would be shot or shot at by a millionaire, you'd file a civil case too. You're right. He's not wrong. I think the question, though, becomes motive. Also, when you think of someone who's going after 30 million, it makes you think maybe he's not a reasonable person. Maybe he staged, some people's theories are maybe he staged the whole shooting because there was no evidence. There was not even video of the shooting. Initially, we thought that there was, there was video of the shooting. There was not video of Relly returning to the scene to collect the shell casings as he had discussed in trial. So I think the reason also, yeah, I would be selling Gucci, yes. The reason also why some people are saying, I don't really know, some people feel that it's relevant, the civil case, is because they feel that it goes to motive. In addition, when a jury hears that your primary concern was money, not justice, it makes them question whether you Oh, okay. Someone, True Hebrew said they just heard that the verdict will be ready at 4:20 instead of 4. That's fine. We're here hanging out. We are here. Oh, we've only got 135 likes. Give us some more. Can we get some more, please? Thank you. I'm glad you like my lip. I don't know what it is, girl. I got it at Marshall's. It was in a pack of 5. It says, up. That's right. They deliberated for 3 hours. So let's talk about what that means. In a criminal case, when you see that a jury is deliberated for 3 hours, and let's acknowledge that was 3 hours and a lunch break. That was kind of quick. I think it was 3 hours plus the 1 hour lunch break because right now is approximately, they started at 9:30 a.m. California time, and right now it is 4 p.m. So yeah, that would be about 3 hours and lunch. Here's the thing. It means that the jury felt pretty confident. First of all, we know that it means that it's going to be unanimous. Whatever the verdict is, it's going to be everyone agreeing not guilty or everyone agreeing guilty. I want to see, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the chat. Here we go. I'm going to do a poll. I want to see what you guys think the verdict will be. Let's do a poll. Don't too much here. Start a poll. What verdict do you anticipate? Guilty or not guilty? I'm not going to put hung jury in there because it's too quick for a hung jury. That ain't going to be what it is. Okay, so you guys can do the poll there. This is going to be really interesting. Yeah. Keita G said the trial was a mess. Okay, we've got some not guilties. Probably only needed a Band-Aid. Let me show you guys. I'm going to show you another photo of the Relly Gray's knuckles. See these knuckles. Knuckles. Shouts out to journalist Megan Cuniff for her fabulous Instagram coverage. I say Instagram. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, here we go. We're going to share this tab. These are the knuckle injuries. Let's see. Let's get these knuckles up there. There we go. What y'all think? I'm going to put it up bigger. I'm going to put my big face to the side. All right. Latrice Lowe said he probably only needed a Band-Aid. Does that look like a gunshot graze to you? You guys tell me. I don't know. Is the poll messing up for anyone else? I'm not sure. Kunif said, usually if it's quick, it's guilty. I have to say, I did an SA assault case. Oh my gosh. I represented the defendant. Can I do the poll again? Oh, let me see what's going on with the poll. Let me see what's going on. Lewin just walked in. Good. That's what we want. What? I don't think I can do the poll again. All right, I'll end it and try it again, since some people are saying that it's not working for them. Let's do the poll again. No problem. You want guilt-free or I'm gonna tell you my experience. And I'm gonna say my experience has been the opposite. But it can be my personal experience has been the opposite. But oftentimes, yeah, like if you've got like let's say it's a death penalty case. Hold on. And like I've had I've dealt with a death penalty case and it was super fast because just there was all this proof, right? It was almost like the guy was just wasting time trying to get out of cell going to trial. Like trial wasn't even, I was like, you wasting everybody's time. You just trying to get up out your cell. Okay, I just did. You voted in, it says 0%. Okay, I just tried it again. So we shall see there. All right, how we doing on Insta? Oh, you guys are going, look like he scraped his hand. Yeah, that's all. 3 hours is not quick, Fab Bougie said. It looks like Quick is not guilty. Yeah, in my experience, Quick was not guilty. I was dealing with a case where a now 14-year-old girl alleged that her father had abused her in the nasty way. And the man was very innocent. He was innocent. When I got down to the facts, the truth of the matter is her mama put her up to it. She and her brothers, she had 2 brothers. They were all getting all these checks, these crazy checks for all these mental disorders that they allegedly had. And when I got down, because it's really hard to win an SA case against a teenager, right? Because we can believe a teenager. I think the little girl was like 11 when she first made the outcry, but 14 when she came to trial and said the same thing. And the gist of it was I had to find a motive. Come to find out, baby, this household was getting $2,700 a month because for each child, for her brother, and her sister, because each of them had been diagnosed with ADD, ADHD, bipolar, depression. I didn't know you could diagnose a 4-year-old with depression. I mean, with depression or bipolar, but they were getting all these checks. Well, nobody in the damn house worked. The mama didn't work. The granny didn't work. The great granny didn't work. The mama's boyfriend didn't work. The granny's boyfriend didn't work. So if those kids had been switched to live with their father, which is what the father was trying to do, because it was all kind of nonsense going on at their house. If they went, that meant the entire income for all them grown-ups, and 4 grown-ups, 2 grown men and 3 grown women, that meant they was going to get up and get a job. They said, hell no. And then they put in those false accusations against that man, bless his heart. And we got a not guilty verdict in 3 hours, but it was so quick. And I had been told the same thing here, which was that a quick verdict means guilty. Let me tell you something. I was so disgusted. I couldn't go back in the courtroom. I said, I cannot see this man be found guilty. I had to stay in the hallway. I stayed in the hallway, and my peers, because I was co-counsel, was not lead counsel, because you can't do that if you're lead counsel. But I stayed in the hallway ready to throw up. And when I heard the not guilty through the door and the hollers and the hooplas, I was like, praise the Lord. praise him real high. But yes, so those are his ashy knuckles. We're going to go back. I'm going to switch over to this one. Yeah, those were the ashy knuckles. There we go. Okay, we are back to, okay, it is 6:05, which is 4:05 their time. I want to see if there's any other questions that I see in the chat. Insta, thank you for joining as well. TC Duke said, it looked like he got beat up. See, so also part of the allegation is the reason the knuckles are bloody is because he punched 3 people. He punched one person 3 times. So in the course of the melee, Relly gets into a fight with, there we go. He gets into a fight with Ills. So let's see. Let me see if I can pull up some of that footage. Rocky just stay in trouble. Because don't forget, he got in trouble in Stockholm, Sweden for a beatdown. He done beat somebody down real bad over there. Y'all tell me, put in the chat what you feel was the most interesting evidence that you felt went towards not guilty. Here we go. Here we go. I'm going to share this one. This is, guys, this is the footage of the incident. I want you to see it. That's ASAP in this jacket with the little design on the back. Okay. The guy in that blue hat is Ills. Rocky clearly has a pow. He has a pow, Lucifer. There's no doubt that it was a pow. This is more footage. This is them in the street. That's ASAP. His testimony. So some are saying his testimony was what they were like, ain't no way. They have not yet announced the verdict. No, we're still waiting. So this is them fighting. So what you're seeing now, the allegation is that Rocky shot the pow where we hear the 2 noises. He shot it to try and scare Relly so that Relly would stop beating up Ills. Then that's him running off. Now, here's another important factor. You see in the video, Rocky, Ills, and whatever the 12, that's the other guy over there, they run off and Relly follows them. Tell me, if you just hurt your knuckles, okay, to where you
right? Yeah, I became furious. I told him to use it. That was the breaking point for me.
I don't show my Instagram. I'm already getting death threats. Just saying I'm an extortionist. No one is calling you extortionist.
It was a fiery.
Okay, there we go. We're gonna switch over to this one. Okay, there we go. So my point was, I never have I ever heard of a victim chasing after a man with a gun who just powed you when you've injured your hand so severely that you need $30 million to be whole. Why would I be chasing after him as opposed to running the other way and trying to get the police? The police did manipulate the sounds of a shot. Oh, it's a hookah. It's a hookah. Symone, does Rocky have a criminal record? He does. Just curious because of the potential amount of time here's what's interesting. He was held, I want to say, for a month in Rikers on charges for something that I believe were ultimately dismissed. And then he was also held for a month in Sweden for beating somebody up in a street brawl. I don't believe that foreign crimes can be used in the calculation a judge would use in the event that someone is found guilty. Mind Your Business said, yeah, it was dumb for him to chase after them. But he said, this is also very, very hood. It really is. This is very ghetto. This is very, very ghetto. But so am I. So I like this type of mess. Yes, he did. He had a trial in Europe and I know I don't know if he was sentenced, but he definitely was over there for 30. Was there for 30 days in a Swedish prison. Now, Sheeby said Lewin would have brought that up for sure. Here's the thing. You cannot bring up someone's criminal record in the guilt innocence phase. Right now, we're in guilt innocence, but you can bring up their record in the sentencing. You pull it all out. You can even at times bring up what's called uncharged offenses. So sometimes when I watch crime stories, I'll see that be done. I'll see that be done where maybe someone's on trial for allegedly unaliving their spouse, and maybe they found out that their prior spouse mysteriously disappeared, but there wasn't enough to bring charges. Oftentimes, you can put that in front of a judge and let a judge do what they're gonna do. Yeah, I think he was sentenced to a month. That Terry, you're right. All right, Desiree says, I think things that hurt their case was Relly's testimony and actions, the delayed follow-up by the police in charging Rocky, and the fact that it's clear Relly really wants money from Rocky. Now, I have to say, many of us in the chat, I have to say, first off, as an attorney, the fake gun defense was brilliant. The everything about it, because of the timing. They waited to the eve of trial to truly present it and announce it, due to the fact that if they had done it any earlier, there would have allowed time for the prosecutor to go and amend the charges to include the lesser offense of simple aggravated assault. He clearly aggravated assaulted that man. Okay. Ag assault is simply holding anything that looks like a weapon, whether it is or not, to scare somebody. He was ag assaulted all day. But because the state didn't add that as a charge, they were so confident because of the video I just showed where there was clearly a pow pow. Because of that, as a result, here we go. Because of that, as a result, the only charge on the table is ag assault with the pow pow, which means the state has the burden of proof of proving two things that are going to be very difficult. Number one, that it was a real pow pow, not a fake one. And number two, that he was not exercising self-defense. And when you saw that clip that I played just a minute ago, here we go. Played that clip, which had, we can go back to it since trial is not quite ready, of Relly jacking him up with him fighting. You can see the difference in height and strength with Relly. Arguably, there may be a self-defense. That's ASAP. Rocky, that's Rocky. The other guy in black is Relly. And apparently you can see Relly is pulling him. Guys are trying to pull him apart and it ain't working. There's two guys trying to pull me apart. In fact, two other ASAPs. This is the big guy. He's upset. Oh, now, by the way, the basis of the anger is Relly felt like ASAP just made it big, made money, and forgot about him. Even though when Rocky first got his contract, he actually bought a place for the guys to hang out, for the 20 of them, the 20 other ASAPs to hang out in New York. But specifically, one of the ASAPs, I think his name was Josh, had passed away. And Relly felt that Rocky should have paid to take his body from LA to New York and take care of the funeral. And he felt that that was just absolutely trifling of Rocky to not do that. Come to find out, Rocky had done it. He just hadn't broadcast it to Relly. So Relly is bad-mouthing Rocky, is saying certain things about him, about how Rocky didn't, has left him. He think he's too good, blah, blah, blah. So that's kind of the basis of this argument you're seeing here. Let me keep playing it. Actually, I'm going to slow it down. Since we're still waiting on the verdict, I hope you guys don't mind. I'm going to do it 0.75. We're going to slow it down so we can really see. All right, that's ASAP Rocky. Friend trying to break it up. Like, come on, you nincompoops. Look at you, goose. Make it bigger. Oh, sorry, guys. I didn't realize I had covered it. I'm going to do this over. Roll it back. There we go. This is them fighting and tussling. The girls was fighting, y'all. They tussling. On the streets of LA. All right, there's the pow pow. Just no doubt it's there. The question is, did he use it in self-defense? Okay, now he puts it up. So this is not where you hear the shot. Over here is where you hear the shots. So that's ASAP. We know it because he's in the hood. And the other two guys, not Relly, is whooping up on one of the other guys, and they're trying to break it up. And allegedly, Rocky shoots the pow pow to make it make noise, because Relly won't stop tearing that other boy's behind up. He getting it. Woo! Ha, ha, ha. Knocks him to the ground. Now the other guys are running off. Here they go. They go running. Here they go. And you're gonna see. You should see Relly running behind them. Even though Relly is apparently so scared of her. This is him run. Okay, there you go. There's Rocky running off. Walking off, I guess, at this point. One of the other ones, that's 12E. And then I guess that is Relly. Yeah, that's supposed to be Relly following them. No. Rocky, 12E. More footage of them on the street. I think that was supposed to be the power. Here we go. Those are the two shots. The problem with the audio is the police admitted on the stand that they manipulated the video, that video, or one of the videos that had no sound, they laid sound from another video over that. And so some people felt like, well, that should not be allowed. That should not be allowed as evidence. Why should that be okay? Here we go. Somebody said, how long ago did this happen? It happened November 6, 2021. So what's important as well is, so many of us were saying, well, wait a minute. If it was a real pow pow, why wouldn't you submit that into evidence, Rocky? That'd be the first thing. Boom, case closed. Well, Rocky subsequently, his team, Rocky never took the stand. His team subsequently admitted into evidence via witnesses that what happened was the gun allegedly came from a music video set. And this happened in November. Around January, ASAP Lou, or Luke, whatever it is, ASAP Lou returned the pow pow to the music video director who owned it. That person was in New York. And at the time that he did that, no charges were pressed. Relly went to the police and had made his police statement. He did that 2 days after. So he did that November 8th. But there was no charges. There was no indictment. There was none of that. Therefore, it wasn't getting rid of evidence. It's not evidence when you've not been charged, arrested, nothing. Rocky hadn't even been contacted by police at that point. He was not charged until April. So he returned the pow pow to its owner in January and was not charged until April. So I thought it was either a really well manufactured lie or a real good truth. We'll have to see which one the jury believes. But the prosecutor made a good statement. The prosecutor said, well, if this was, and so one thing as well about a fake pow pow that we learned in this case is this particular one, it both sounded like a real gun and it made a flash like a real gun. It also ejected casings that would be prop casings. And so the state made the argument, well, if this was truly a fake pow pow, how come the police did not locate fake pow pow shell casings when the police went and searched the area? Child and Rocky's lawyer got up there and said, well, how come they didn't find any real ones? Hey, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I thought that was I thought that was a really good counter argument. The police did not find any shell casings of any of this. As well, it was late at night. This happened around 9:30ish at night. And so if the police didn't find it for one, they didn't find it for the other. But lo and behold, the only one who could find them was Relly. Well, the evidence also acknowledged that Relly said he'd never shot a gun before this. And then evidence was admitted that not only had he shot a gun, that he was at an LA gun range just 2 weeks before this. Why does it matter? Well, if you've ever been to a gun range, one thing that's all over the floor are shell casings. You could easily pick up 2 of them, put them in your pocket for whatever reason. One time I went to shooting a little pow pow, and it was on a date. Not Tinder. This was a real life person. I was on a date and I was wearing a little V-cut something, and I shot my little pow pow all sexy. That little casing came up, went right inside of my titty hole. I was on fire. You hear me? I was like, oh, but I kept it because it was a really good date. And I was like, oh my God. He like grabbed it out of my bosom. It was really romantic. So yes, arguably the question is, thank you so much, the Phenom. Yes. So the question is, where did these casings come from? Is the jury going to believe that the victim himself came back at nighttime? Oh, they even asked him the great question. They said, okay, did you have a flashlight? Because they said, did you bring anything with you? He said, my phone. Said, did you have a flashlight? He said, no. He said, but I had my phone. I was like, okay, whatever. You had your phone. But he also said he came back and searched for the shell casings with his girlfriend. Well, the video that allegedly had him searching for shell casings, you cannot see no girlfriend. Ain't no girlfriend on there. That's for sure. If the person in the video is supposedly him, there's no girlfriend. And they specifically asked him, how close was your girlfriend to you when y'all were searching? And he said, oh, about 5 feet. So it's like, we don't know if we believe you. Shop on a Budget said, Relly told so many lies. This case should have been thrown out. He's mad. Rocky made it and he didn't. So I think it's so rare, honestly, that when 2 men from ASAP are not a gang, we'll be clear with that. But whether it's a gang or a crew, it's very rare that they will testify against each other, especially if they are going to be the sole witness. So that was unique here. But I believe here, and there was also audio recordings that were submitted where Relly admitted, he said that if Rocky would just pay him, he wouldn't show up to trial. Boy, what? You little stupid. Oh, and the best part of the audio recordings is initially before they played the recordings, they asked Relly, I want you to listen to this and you tell me if it's you. And he was like, no, this ain't me. It's fake. It's fake. It's like, all right, you're accusing AI. Is that what it is? You're accusing AI of it being AI on this, but no. First he said it wasn't him. Then they brought in the other person on the phone, which was ASAP 12, who was also there, I believe. Or no, it was Wally. It wasn't 12. They brought Wally. And Wally was the one that recorded the call. And Wally said, yeah, that was absolutely him. This is a true and correct recording. So we're ready any minute now. It might be, we got 6 more minutes to 4:30, which is 6:30 our time. But this case was a whole hot mess. I firmly believe that the state took this case because they felt like, we've got it on video. He clearly has a pow pow in his hand, open and shut. And the prosecutor in this case, he's pretty famous. He's a famous prosecutor. He took down Robert Durst. If you look up Robert Durst, he killed one lady back in the day and got away with it, and then was tried more recently. He's an old, nasty old man from the music industry. And this particular prosecutor ensured that there was a guilty verdict the second time around. So Robert Durst was found guilty for the second person that he murdered, thanks to this prosecutor, Lewin. But baby, Lewin was hot that it wasn't until like the eve of trial, right before jury selection was starting, that he found out about the prop gun defense. He was so hot. He was hollering and screaming. all the time at trial, to the point where some days the judge had to tell him, stop yelling. Let me tell you, when one white man tells another man to stop yelling, that man is yelling. Yelling. Oh, someone said the prosecutor got caught lying. Well, there were definitely a number of times where the prosecutor's version of the facts were misstatement of evidence, and that was called out a number of times. It says, can Rocky sue for legal fees? Malicious prosecution. Yep, he can. He'd have to do it under malicious prosecution. He cannot do it under defamation. There's pretty much a defamation immunity if the basis of the defamation is a criminal or civil lawsuit. That's why it's really sad what happened with Jay-Z and the dismissal. Because I don't know how Jay-Z won't be able to get his attorney's fees or even pain and suffering or any of the lost deals or whatever Jay-Z's going through. He will not be able to get them in New York for the frivolous case that was sued against him. He can't get them from Busby because Busby has litigation immunity. Litigation immunity is an absolute immunity for all lawyers where we cannot be sued for defamation based on any communication that we make related to our case. So I can come up there and lie and say, I think this person did. I can't be defamation. It could be malicious prosecution, but it can't be defamation. The other thing that it usually is sanctions. But in Jay-Z's case, he can't get his millions under the sanctions rule either, as I described in my little mini video, due to the fact that New York says, hey, as long as you have to go to the other side, you have to show them the evidence that this was frivolous or that this was lies. And after you do that, if they dismiss the case, you can't sue them. Can't sue that lawyer. And that's to protect and incentivize lawyers to dismiss frivolous cases. But the problem is, in the case of Jay-Z, that damage was done, baby. Hit that like button. That damage was done upon filing. Oh, and Jay-Z signed an affidavit that said not only was this cruel to him, but to his family, and that he believes Tony Busby strategically chose to file the lawsuit the day before Blue Ivy's Lion King debut. I didn't realize that at first. Busby filed this the night before the Lion King debut, and Disney absolutely positively did not want Jay-Z to escort his daughter on that red carpet, and he had to fight for that. And I could see that. Disney don't want to be associated with nothing like that. So he almost had to miss this monumental moment for his daughter. Baby, Jay-Z is going to see blood. Jay-Z is going to try to get this man's, we're talking about Tony Busby. He's going to try to get that man's license taken, I know, and all kinds of things. Lewin said he was ruined his reputation. He has been doing this for 30 years. He has done. Just looked up Durst. His Wikipedia page is a mugshot with him wearing a breathing tube. I don't care. Let that man die in prison. He deserves it. And get extorted. He did that woman so dirty. This whole case is ghetto. The prosecutors, the attorneys, everyone is just ghetto. Now, I have to say, the one moment where I thought, Rocky, you done messed yourself up, buddy, was 12E was on the stand. And one of the questions asked to 12E was, what does AWGE mean? That is the slogan for Rocky's media company. And before 12E could answer on the stand, literally Rocky hollers out at court and he said, don't answer that. We were looking like, wait, what? He said, don't answer that. So I looked it up. Apparently, whatever AWGE stands for, literally the motto is never tell what AWGE stands for. Literally, that is the motto. So that's why he told him that. But the problem was when when that boy was asked that under oath, he had a legal obligation to tell. His legal obligation is not to Rocky. It's to the court. So if he knew it, it would be perjury to say, I'm not sure. That's what the guy said on the stand. He said, I'm not sure. If he knew it, he had a legal obligation to tell it. And what it ended up looking like is that Rocky got them men under lock. Rocky has his witnesses under lock and key, and that they are going to testify and say whatever Rocky tell them to. That was a really bad look. For me, I feel like that was the one area where I was like, ooh, you might have got yourself in a little trouble. As far as like the jury, that's going to be in the jury's mind. It says, Symone, is it fair to say, what's wrong with this? Is it fair to say that this is what money buys? The ability to afford lawyers that can go up against these big time seasoned prosecutors. Well, I have to say, ain't nothing worse than a scary lawyer. And it's a lot of scary lawyers out there, a lot. So the answer is yes, I do believe that. But also, when I talk about scary lawyers, I'm talking about lawyers who do not feel comfortable totally and completely advocating for their clients. And I remember being in law school. I used to do death penalty cases in law school, representing inmates on death row. And I remember asking, our situation was that we found out that the DA in Dallas, Texas, was illegally listening to calls between us, the lawyers, the legal team, and the client. They cannot do that. The client had been on death row for a number of years for a, murder, whatever. It's not whatever, but for murder. And it was getting a retrial because the prosecution policy in Dallas at the time was to not let blacks, Latinos, Chicanos, that's what they call them, not let blacks, Jews, Chicanos, or Protestants or only Protestants on juries, because blacks, Latinos, and Jews, we sympathize too much with defendants. That's what it was told. And so the guy didn't get a fair trial. Anyway, what we discovered is they were listening to our phone call. So I said, we should file a motion and we should get the prosecutor upset. Baby, do you know the lawyer who was the main attorney? He was appointed by the court to represent this guy. He didn't want to do it. He said, I don't want to upset the judge. I said, what the? Well, come to find out, like 90% of that guy's monthly income came from being court appointed by that judge and other judges in other Dallas County courts. So oftentimes you can get a scary type of lawyer simply because they're scared if they piss off your judge, they're not going to have no more cases, which means they're not going to make no more money. And most lawyers are terrible at marketing. Most. Therefore, there are a lot of criminal attorneys who rely on the prosecutor. Who rely on the judge to appoint cases to them. Otherwise, they never get paid. Oh no, now they're saying 7:30 Central. Are they really? Let's see. So they do give them 90 minutes to return to the courtroom from being alerted. It says, dang, even Chat GPT doesn't know what AUG stands for, and they know everything. No, that's perfect. Yeah, that is one of the difficult. All public defenders are not like that, because there's two kinds. There's a public defender. Yes, James Pugh, y'all call it a pool attorney. That sounds about right. There's the public defenders that work in the public defender office, where that's all they do. Now, they ain't never scared, because they're not, it's like they have an abundance of cases. I'm referring to civil, like there'll be private practice attorneys like myself, where we can sign up for what's called the appointment wheel. Due to the fact that the public defender's office is overwhelmed, majority of cases actually go to the appointment wheel. And through that wheel, they will get cases. So that is how a private practice attorney could supplement their income. Yep. Can we get some more likes in this chat? I'm going to look. I'm going to check on Twitter. Let's see what Megan is telling them on Twitter. Attorney Kuna, not attorney. She's not an attorney, but. Oh, Lewin was fired up in this hearing. Okay. Wait a minute. Here. I want to see the latest. It says prayers for Rakim. Oh, you know what, y'all? I just realized. So the jury deliberated for 3 hours, but they didn't ask for clarification on a god darn thing. You realize that? They didn't ask for clarification on the doggone thing. That is huge. So, you guys, the verdict's supposed to be any moment now, but we are waiting. That is very strange. This was a 2-week trial. So, the fact that no questions, they didn't need clarification. I think I would not be surprised, y'all, if that jury went, sat in that room, got a decision real quick, and was like, hey, y'all, we can't go back in there this fast. Okay, 4 hours. Okay, it says Rocky just walked into the building. It's probably who they were waiting on. Literally 1 minute ago, someone tweeted 1 minute ago, Rocky just walked into the building. All right. We shaking and baking. It says everyone is pretty anxious in the hallway. Generally, people believe it's a not guilty verdict. This is someone reporting from the court. But conventional wisdom reminds me that quick verdicts are usually guilty. I would have voted not guilty, and then they went into the verdict. I don't think the state did. Okay, here we go. Now let's see. Now some people are saying our girl. Oh well, I say our girl. I like her. That Megan was too much. That she's leaning towards guilty and was too much toward that side. Okay, Joe Tacopino has been in the hallway chatting. That was 24 minutes ago. Okay, Rocky arrived on the 9th floor hallway as we await the reading of the verdict in his trial. He and his team are now walking down the hallway into the courtroom. Ooh, shoot. It says there are extra sheriff's deputies stationed around the courthouse. Paparazzi are still awaiting Rocky's arrival. Extra. Ooh, we got extra. We got extra. You disagree with Megan? So I gotta read. I haven't seen Megan's statements that leaned that way. And what I realized when I covered the Megan Thee Stallion case is that sometimes people have a misunderstanding of when you're saying the law is leaning this way or the facts as applied to the law are leaning in a way versus you personally giving opinion. Now, for example, I personally believe that what's that boy's name? What's that little man name? Tory Lanez. When Tory Lanez says, I didn't shoot Meg, my understanding of that, because I've had these kind of clients all the time, he meant I didn't point it at her. I might have shot it in the air or over there, and maybe something ricocheted, but I know people who will pass a lie detector by saying, no, I didn't shoot this person because they feel that the sole definition of shoot is at you, directed to you, intended to you, as opposed to that little man wanting to stop the fight, right? And shooting it in the air. And when he shot in the air, it went down and ricocheted and hit her. I don't know. I don't really care at this point. Okay, so this is regarding this case. I don't think he shot him, but I do think the gun was real. I think both of them. Here's the thing. I think this is why I don't feel sorry for Relly if it's not guilty. I think Relly was so focused on winning a multi-million-dollar civil suit that he got to lying. I think Relly was lying to buttress his civil suit. Not really, because remember, civil, baby, all he needed to win that civil suit is 71%. Here's the other thing. If this little child of God would have just shut up and pursued the civil suit, he would have won. See, because whether it's real or fake, it's still assault under civil law. He would have won. He was assaulted under civil law. And the jury in a civil court only has to find that Rocky would be guilty beyond a preponderance of the evidence, which is 51%. 51%. And in most states, doesn't even have to be unanimous. Just 10 of them. 10. 10. That video would have done it. But, and he still could. He still could. If his lawyers still want to take it. Now, allegedly, his lawyers in the civil case are Ben and Camille from Johnny Depp's case. Now, I don't see them wanting to touch this case no more. If there's a not guilty, I don't see it. I don't see it. Simply due to the fact that this man was a terrible witness. There was so many oh, my bracelets look pretty. I got bracelets for Valentine's from my Valentine. I need to stop telling my business. I think she said something about the video matching. Really sorry. Was she? I don't know. Oh, Meg. Yeah. See, yeah, I think the thing is, if people are saying this is the way the evidence looks, and you're talking about somebody who sat in the courtroom, it's just an assessment of where they think it's going. It doesn't mean they think that ASAP's not a great person. It doesn't mean that they think Relly's not a pimp. All of those things can be true. Oh, y'all got a lot of comments. Hit that like, please. I don't think there was ever a fight between Meg and Kelsey. I think that man saw Tori's little woman size butt whooping Kelsey. Ooh! Both women said they never fought. Kelsey would have been happy to say if it was true. Interesting. Okay, let me see. Let me see which states require only 10. Let me see. I know Texas. In California civil court, how many jurors must agree? All right. Ooh, just what I said. Boom, shaka laka, shaka laka. It says if it's an expedited jury trial with 8 jurors, only 6 have to agree. Oh, he could have got that. He could have got that. And this is annoying me. Yeah. And then it says, here we go. Yep. Let me just share the tab. It says if it's a civil trial with 12 jurors, only 10 have to agree on the verdict. If it's a civil trial with fewer than 12, the number of jurors who must agree is determined by the parties in open court. In criminal cases, all 12 must unanimously agree. And then after the verdict's read in criminal, the jury doesn't have to be, but may be polled to confirm that at least 9 jurors agree to each decision. If the jury cannot reach a verdict within a reasonable time, the judge may order a mistrial, also known as a hung jury. Definitely not the case here. This is the first day of deliberations, and they reached a verdict in 3 hours. But again, it is important to note. Let's go around back over here. Oh, they're zooming in. What's going on here, boys? Y'all ready to get jiggy? I'm ready. Oh. All right, we ready. We are ready for this verdict. Yeah, so here, all 12. Why are they making a production of the verdict? I'm not sure. Yeah, after this trial, you see Relly's attorneys. I could see that. I just also because the civil attorneys, here's the other reason the civil attorneys will probably drop them. I don't know. That's 50-50. Here's the thing, because the civil attorneys, they took the case on contingency, which means all the work, everything that they've done to date, whatever that may have been, they fronted the cost of those. Now, I don't expect, it wasn't a lot, because I know for a fact depositions have not been taken. You don't do depositions till after the criminal case is resolved, for the reason that if you do it beforehand, the defendant never has to be deposed, because that deposition, because it's done under oath, could be used against him in a criminal trial. That's why the criminal trial always goes first, because if you've already been found guilty or innocent, You cannot plead the fifth in your civil trial because pleading the fifth says I'm protecting my right to be incarcerated as a result of what I say. Well, if you've already been found guilty or not guilty, there's no double jeopardy. Therefore, there's no risk that the civil case, whatever you say there, could get you locked up. And therefore, you have to testify in a civil case. You have to do a deposition in a civil case if it's asked. And y'all, that is why Bill Cosby's case, got appealed on court, is because the prosecutor initially told him, hey, we'll never file criminal charges against you. The reason they did that was to help the victim receive millions in a civil lawsuit. The reason that victim was able to get millions in the civil suit is because the prosecutor said, we'll never prosecute you. He had no choice and had to be deposed. And under oath, he admitted to roofing that woman, that handsome lady. I don't remember her name. She's very handsome. I don't remember her name. Y'all, somebody put her name in the chat. Handsome lady with all the curls, bless her heart. She was like she looked like a basketball coach or a basketball player, whatever it was. But that lady, in the deposition, he admitted to roofing her. She in turn received millions from a settlement. And then the new DA came in Philly, and that new DA said, we don't care about that other agreement. It was only verbal. We're going to prosecute you. They used that deposition testimony against him to get him found guilty, Bill Cosby. And that is why on appeal, they not only released him, but they didn't order Cosby to be retried because they said what was done to him was so egregious, basically reneging on the statement that we'll never try you for this, that he can never be tried again. Yeah, it was really bad. So he did not get out because he wasn't guilty. He literally got out on a technicality. But the truth of the matter is that's the kind of technicality that you got to release him for, because you cannot have prosecutors out here saying, hey, give this testimony or we won't prosecute you. And then they prosecute you. It's not right. Can't do that. I don't know that. No, Bill didn't hire the wrong attorneys. He ultimately he had the right ones because he won on an appeal. What it is in state court. See, state court judges aren't necessarily all that smart. They're voted in by the people, so they're going to do what is most popular because they are fearful if they don't, they won't get reelected. That's what's different with federal judges. Federal judges often are a-holes. They are lifetime appointments. They don't care. That's why these federal judges appointed by Trump are so scary, because they're going to be there until they die. And he said he's going to try to put 30-year-old conservatives in there. We ain't having no rights. Yes, Kiki and DC, we need to get your nap too. But I'm looking on Twitter. Hold on. Oh, I'm not about to play with y'all. Hold on. Let me fix my charger. I'm not about to play with y'all at all. I'm still here. I'm just gonna fix my charger real quick, as in my computer charger, because we ain't about to play with this. We need to hear everything. All right, waiting on my charger. Trying to plug in my charger, y'all. Just give me a moment. Heave ho. Got to heave ho. I don't need that. Just a second. Gonna get this right. Oh yeah, we gonna get plugged up in here. Where did my little thing go? All right. We're gonna be all right. All right. Okay. We're all set. All right, we're all set. Okay, I need them to hurry it up. We need to chop. Come on, court. Let me edit my little name and headline here. Woo-hoo. While we're waiting, what other cases y'all want to talk about? Because, child, that Dank case, she's still pissing me off. That's the girl that's trying to sue Lyft because she can't get in one. Hold on one second. Hold on, y'all. Okay, we are ready. Any moment now. Any moment now. All right, it says they should be okay. What's Megan saying? Megan is now saying, oh, here we go.
Has reached verdicts on counts 1 and 2, and I believe the judicial assistant Alex has confirmed that. Yes.
We were told they had it correct. That's correct.
Both sides ready for the jury?
Yes. Yes.
Verdict is in. We're gonna hear the verdict. Now. All right, any minute now, y'all. I just pinned. All right, we got the poll says 21% are thinking guilty, 79 not guilty. I did do a recap at the beginning of this video. If you slide to the front, I did a recap of the facts in the event that you're not familiar. I also just pinned a link. So once we get the verdict, I want to hear from you guys.
All right, we're on the record with all jurors present. All parties and counsel are present. Juror 9, you are the foreperson?
Yes.
And it is true that the jury has reached verdicts?
Yes, Your
On
Honor.
both counts?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you have the verdict form with you?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, could you give those to Deputy Bennett?
Standing up. His eyes are closed. He's looking down with hoop earrings. He's wearing hoop earrings.
All right, what we're going to do, folks, is Deputy Bennett is going to give the verdict forms to juror number 1. Juror number 1, I want you to look at the verdict forms, and I'm going to want to know whether these verdict forms reflect your true and correct verdicts. Juror 2, I'd like you to look over her shoulder so you can review the verdict forms. And I want to know from you whether these are your true and correct verdicts. Once I've heard from both of you, give the verdict forms to juror number 3. Juror 3, look at the verdict forms. Juror 4, look over her shoulder. So ultimately, I'm going to want to hear from all 12 of you whether these verdict forms reflect your individual true and correct verdicts. Everybody understand? All right. Deputy Bennett, put these two in the hands.
Remember, the plea deal was 180 days. He would only probably do about 18 days. Yes.
Juror number 1, are those your true and correct verdicts? Juror number 2?
Yes.
Juror 3 and 4? Sure, 5 and 6.
And at 8 years is what the state wants to request, but up to 24 years. Up to 24, the state wants 8 years is what he's dealing with.
Sure, 5 of those are your two correct verdicts? Yes. Sure, 6.
The offer on the
Let's,
table was
get
180
the verdict
days
forms. Sure, 7.
with good time. He
Sure,
would
8.
have
Look
done less
over,
than a month, closer to 8
your
years.
shoulder. Sure, number 7, those are your two correct verdicts? Sure, 7?
Yes.
Sure, 8?
Yes.
9 and 10? Sure, 9?
Yes.
Sure, 10?
Yes.
11 and 12.
Thank you guys for watching with me. This is Girl, Is That Legal? On
Sure,
YouTube.
11?
Yes.
Sure, 12.
Yes.
All right, all jurors have stated that the verdict forms reflect their individual true and correct verdict. Alex, read this.
Yes, Your Honor.
Days in which he would have done a month, but he would have lost all his deals. He would have not been able to do the movie he has coming up. He would not be on the Met Gala committee that he was on. And most importantly, Relly would have almost automatically won his civil case. So he would have been
All
liable
right, the
to
jury is
Relly.
left, the bond is exonerated. Mr. Mayers, you're excused.
He's crying loud. Loud tears.
Back row.
Look at the prosecutor. Anybody look at the prosecutor? Yeah. That's cool. That's cool.
In the back row, you get your exit.
The way the prosecutor was up there hooping and hollering, there we go. The way that prosecutor was hollering it almost every day, y'all. If you didn't watch it with me, that's okay. But we followed it here on the channel daily. And the way that prosecutor sat up there hollering at people and yelling, he knew he lost when the defense was revealed. The defense was that, hey, this isn't a real gun, it's a fake gun, and also self-defense. Now, unlike New York, in New York, if you're arguing self-defense, you generally have to take the stand. But California, you don't, because California is a state that believes in stand your ground. And where there is a stand your ground, you can argue self-defense without taking the stand, just like George Zimmerman did in Florida. Now, go ahead, y'all. I pinned on YouTube. If you want to come in, you don't have to show your face. But if you want to ask a question or give your thoughts, I want to hear you guys' thoughts. I also want to hear from somebody who's like, I think that man did it. Here's the thing. He may have. But when I say this is a victimless crime, what that means is when a jury has to decide between sending a man, a father of some kids, away for 8 years or 24 years, whatever it is, versus getting justice for the victim, they're going to look at the victim and say, how sympathetic are we to you? How hurt do we really think you are? And I think based on how Relly presented himself, don't nobody care. Hold on, I got my own. Where's my gavel? Hey, Lauren, I see you just a minute. Don't nobody care, Relly. You don't come up there. You came up there with your little ashy grazed knuckles. You had the ashy grazed knuckles, okay? Didn't nobody care about. You sat up here. Here's the ashy grazed knuckles, okay? Look at them. Look at them, y'all. These are the ashy knuckles. And you came up here with your ashy knuckles, and nobody believes you. All right? So we got Lauren. I'm going to have you come up. You don't have to show your face, y'all. Lauren, what are your thoughts, honey? What are your thoughts?
Hi, Symone.
Hey, girl. Hey.
So I was thinking, like, if I were on the jury, I probably would have believed that the gun was real, and he like shot off the gun in the air or something, like to scare him or whatever. But if they don't have the actual gun, then I can have my own personal opinion. But if you don't present it as evidence, then it doesn't really matter. if he's saying it's a prop and y'all are saying y'all think it's real, but you haven't found it or presented it as evidence, and it's just kind of a he said, she said game. So,
For sure.
I wouldn't, if I were, on the jury, then I wouldn't really like, I guess, determine based off of that. And then he's like a terrible witness,
Yeah.
like I would have probably just voted like not guilty just because I hated him, which you're not
Right.
supposed to do.
So, and that's the other thing. So I think this would also be more of a difficult verdict if the only thing on the table is whether or not the gun was real. Because the
Yeah.
second question they had to ask is whether or not Rocky was justified in using, or no. They had to prove that Rocky was not justified. So there is actually a presumption Rocky was justified in exercising self-defense, right? So they
Right.
had to overcome that. And I think if you didn't like Relly, you are not going to give Relly the benefit of the doubt. Because there's only two people to give the benefit of the doubt to. Rocky with the self-defense or Relly. And didn't nobody want to give Relly nothing.
Yeah, and then like he has these little scrapes on his fingers, and that could have happened at any time. It's not
Right.
like he went to the hospital right after. He could have literally like went home, grazed his fingers across the cement, and then claimed that it happened from the bullets or something. And I didn't follow the whole trial. Did he have like a doctor's note or something?
Nothing. Nada. So
Wow.
he allegedly went to the hospital in New York, but they didn't present any records. Why? Because I believe those records would not have substantiated a gunshot graze. But I said this before. Here's the thing. He could have won without a knuckle graze. I believe he got to lying because when he realized how much money he wanted, I believe he was saying the things that he believed a civil lawyer would want to hear to take his case, contingency fee, no money up front. And what we want to know is that you have a physical injury. We don't want to hear about, I got PTSD. You are a thug. Like you've been in the streets, or you have a knuckle tattoo, right? And because also to build up the damages for a PTSD kind of emotional distress claim, you got to see a therapist consistently. That
Right.
man ain't never seen a therapist in his life, and I don't think he's ever seen a W-2 either.
Wow. And like that's the thing too. Like if I'm on the jury, I'm also looking at it from that perspective. Like, okay, aren't you some type of like street dude, gang member,
Right.
whatever you are? Like you're sitting up here crying over a knuckle graze.
Right. Like you need more people.
Right.
You need more people. Well, thank you so much, Lauren. I really
Thank
appreciate
you.
your
Bye.
contribution. All right. And make sure if you're not subscribed, please do.
I'm subscribed.
All right. Next up, Sabra. You ready? All right, Sabra, I hope you're ready.
Are they do you think that Relly has to pay the court fees?
No. In criminal, nope. They never make a victim, whether it's a guilty or not guilty. They never make that. And they shouldn't. Because think of all the cases where maybe someone has claimed domestic violence, but for whatever reason, that guy's gotten off, right? Then we don't want people to fear calling the police because they can't afford, fees if this person gets off. So
I think that Relly went to New York to go to the doctor because he figured that if he reported it as a gun shot wound, that New York has where you have to report it. And I think the doctor is a mandated reporter. If you go in there with any type of gunshot injury, they have to call the police.
No, you're absolutely right. And all states have that. And honestly, that actually goes even more in favor of Relly needing to take his butt directly to the urgent care that night.
Yeah, and I didn't know that the gunpowder residue washes off. I thought it stays embedded in the skin.
Nope. And remember, no DNA was tested for, but no fingerprints or anything were found on the bullet casings that Relly discovered. Yeah.
That's kind of strange too, because even his fingerprints should have been on the casing. So the chain of evidence was broken.
Absolutely. It was. And listen, SW, thank you so much for the super chat. See, SW, here's the thing. You're smarter than the prosecutor at this point.
I fell
I had
down in my house and bruised up my body more than that guy's hand. I'm sorry. I
Sayla, yes.
slipped and fell and skinned my knee, and it was worse looking than that mess. And I'm dark.
Listen, SW says she asked, why didn't prosecution charge him with brandishing a firearm? In California, it doesn't matter if it's real and could still be a felony. See, the issue is because they felt it was a slam dunk, because they simply relied on that video footage that where it showed the weapon in his hand. But the question is, but no, your question is, it could have been brandishing. It could have. So that would be what's considered a lesser included offense. There was no reason they could have charged him with all of that. Now, sometimes they do like to charge with the most severe because it'll get more time. But no, absolutely. But I think they felt it was such a slam dunk.
So this prosecutor was looking to make his bones on Rakim.
He has done of other celebrity cases. He got the Robert Durst conviction when others
Robert
couldn't.
Durst was easy.
Yep.
Robert
So
Durst
he never got
admitted it on a hot mic. He admitted it.
Yep, it was not guilty. All right, let me add
I'm
Kat.
out.
Thank you so much, Saber. I
Thank you,
really
Symone.
you take care. All right, Kat. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
What are your thoughts?
I felt that the minute that he went back by himself and allegedly found those bullet casings, then he didn't call the police to pick them up. He took them himself. He didn't hand it in straight away. That alone is reasonable doubt to me.
Just
And
stupid.
so
Just
I was just like, are you crazy? You went and are you forensic? See, what is this? So I
he
think
watches
that alone,
way too much. What is it? LA Law and
yes,
Order, New York Undercover.
exactly. And you
All of
went by
it.
yourself. You had no flashlight. You found this. Your girlfriend was there. Actually, she wasn't. She was on the other side of town. You just told too
Nobody knows
many
where his
lies.
girlfriend, the prostitute, is. They never called his girlfriend,
Exactly.
the prostitute, who was allegedly with him to find it. I don't think they called her because she said, I'm not about to get up there and lie for you. They're probably not even together anymore. This
Exactly.
happened 4 years ago. It happened November of 2021. That man don't look like he can keep a woman. He definitely ain't keeping one for no 4 years.
It's true.
She is gone
Anyway,
somewhere else selling cootie cat in other jurisdictions. She's sick of him.
right.
Mm-mm.
I mean, it's one just past 1 a.m. in London. So I was up waiting for this verdict. So yeah,
Yes. I
I'm
knew
very
we would have
happy.
one today, though. You just can't. And the other thing that was brilliant is ASAP Lou, how he slid in there. They kept saying, "You're doing this because you didn't want him to go to jail." He said, "Well, I don't want anybody going to jail for 24 years for something they
Exactly.
did." He slid that 24 years in, and because remember, in the American system, the jury is not allowed to know how much time
Yes.
you're facing, which is crazy. They're not allowed
Yes.
to know how much, whether it's a day or life. They are not allowed to know because they say it's irrelevant to the question of are you guilty or are you innocent. So the brilliant way with which um, I assume that those two witnesses for Rocky had their own attorneys, and their attorneys prepped them and did a damn good job.
Yeah,
I'm
those witnesses were unflappable. I was very impressed.
very, especially because they knew. He probably knew, Rocky knew Relly would be a whole hot mess on that stand.
Exactly. So, anyway,
Yes.
thank you
Well,
for
thank you
having
so
me.
much, Kat. All right, let me read a few more of these comments and we're going to head out. Somebody said free Tory. Well, Tory is going to get deported. I think that what was most upsetting, see, Tory was in a bind. Okay. I'm in a bind, Nate. I'm in a bind. Tory Lanez was in a bind in that even when he was offered a plea deal too, but because Tory is not a citizen, any plea deal he took, he would get deported at the conclusion of whatever that plea. So if it was 6 months, whatever, he would be deported, which meant he wouldn't be able to come here and do concerts or any of that. And so for Tory, it was almost like a death sentence to his career. So he had to take it to trial. Tory is not the same at all. I'm speaking to a significant difference in whether or not, he would have considered a plea. Because everybody's like, Tory, take your plea. Yeah, Tori's done. Well, Tori, I guess Tori can go be one of those. What did they say? You go over to Korea, Japan, and go perform there. But well, thank you guys so much for joining me on this journey. Can't wait to find the next case. Of course, we got the Diddy case, the Diddy trial, but I don't think it's going to be televised because it's federal. But keep subscribing if you're not already subscribed. Subscribe to Girl, Is That Legal? I am going to be releasing another story time this week. And in the comments below, drop what other cases or topics you'd like for me to cover. Whew, I'm tired, y'all. I'm tired. But I hope you have a great evening and blessings. Oh, yeah. And by the way, Rihanna, y'all, Rihanna's probably going to get pregnant tonight. Okay. She about to, she going to give it to him good. She going to give him to him good. He might knock 2 twins in there. So if she come knocked up with twins, you know it probably happened tonight. Congratulations to their family. What is it? The Mayer's family. And I feel like justice was served today. Oh, we got one more. Okay. Shani, what you got to say, girl? Let us know your thoughts.
Okay, first of all, okay, here I am. Can you hear me?
Last one. Yes. Tell us your
Okay, first of all, Symone, thank you for taking us through this entire trial. Nobody has time to really be sitting up doing YouTube for 4 and 5 hours a day. And you did that for us. Girl, that was your big one. Thank you.
I can't believe I did it either. Thank you. You're
welcome. So, first of all, like I said, thank you for that. Second of all, I need to be clear. Is the verdict in? Because I just got here.
It's in and it's not guilty. And when you get a chance, you can roll it back and you'll see, baby, you got to see it's not guilty. He ran and jumped over into the guest section and lunged and hugged Rihanna and grabbed
her. So beautiful.
And got to crying. Yep. So you can just rewind on this video.
Okay, I can't wait to
add chapters.
Yeah, I'm over here in Memphis, so everybody's hunkering down for an ice storm that's not going to be a really big deal at the end of the day. And so usually I watch while I'm at work. So this will definitely be my rewind for tomorrow because I have to work from home.
That'll be good.
But the other thing that I wanted to say was not guilty was the only verdict that they could return. This case was trash. From conception to the beginning. First of all, he went back and found his own bullets. Somebody mentioned it earlier, but chain of custody, that's fruit of the poisonous tree. You cannot build a case on that. So whichever DA let this case rock in the first place, you're not getting elected for your next term. So that's number one. That's incompetency at its finest. Number two, Relly was lying the entire time on the stand. We clearly heard your voice and you said that wasn't me. Your name is Relly, not Shaggy. Wrong rapper. No. Lied.
It wasn't me.
This is not a situation where you take it to the grave. That was clearly you on the recording. I mean, he shot no pun intended, but he shot himself in the foot in this case because it's not there were lies that he told that he didn't have to tell. And then last was the prosecuting attorneys were flat out annoying. I wouldn't be surprised if the jury came back and post-trial interviews and said that they voted against the prosecution just because of their unprofessionalism in the courtroom and their obvious bias to non-white witnesses. It was just a whole hot mess. And the only thing good about it was your commentary. So again, thank you. This was very entertaining as well as educational. So thank you.
Wonderful. Well, have a great evening, Shani. And I have just been asked by Joyce of Jasmine, will I be covering the Diddy trial? I sure am. And I'm trying to actually go. So I'm trying to go up there. So we're going to see how that works out. Get my little meeting.
Make sure you have your protein shakes and everything else because Diddy is going to be a doozy. There's so many parts to that case. Oh my God.
I would not be surprised if it lasts a month, girl. If it lasts a month. Yeah, it's going to be Opera. I see you. Well, thank you so much, Shani. I really appreciate your comments. And I hope you have a great evening.
You too. Bye, everybody.
Great. All right. Opera, you ready?
Hey, Dusty.
You are. Hi.
Hey, I'm a mess too, but I was like, oh, I got to go on and see my bestie. Girl, I was waiting.
Yes, girl.
With bated breath. Oh my God. I just hope he just leaves all this behind. Like, you have 2 children, you have, well, a wife, however they're doing it, you have a partner that is definitely there for you, and they have such a huge future ahead. Like, you don't need to prove anything to anybody.
And yeah, and stop getting involved in this stupid stuff. Like the Swedish incident was preventable. Like all of that. Yeah, just be. I think he really will. He just. Oh my gosh! Thank you, AS2R. I really love that. I just he knew better. He knew better. But also, I think because it was his boy, he never thought it would go to the police. He never thought, but I'm also proud of him for not paying that money. Because I have a feeling whatever amount was asked for. I mean, if they're suing for 30 million, he probably went to Rocky and said, "Give me 10." And Rocky was like, boy, suck wait. Philly Bebe said, "Girl, don't go to that trial, just cover it." So here's the challenge with the Diddy trial. Because it's federal, no TVs will be allowed. They don't ever televise federal trials unless they make an exception here, which I doubt. So the only way to really cover it well is if you're there, because you're not going to get to hear. I mean, I can read reports from other attorneys, but I'm thinking about it. I can't. A month is a lot. This May, I'm going to try to get my groove back. But yes. What do you feel?
Sponsor it.
I would love that. Yeah. So channel, let's get those views up, guys. But Afro, what do you think for you was the biggest evidence where you were like, oh heck no, I wouldn't find this man guilty?
So you know what? I'm gonna tell you the truth. I tried to keep up with your lives. Like the day that I caught it live was when the prosecutor was flipping out. I don't know. Apparently he was flipping out several times throughout. And I was just like, what's going on? Like, it's just too much. And that was that the day when Rocky also was like, don't say that.
Yes.
They were that was the day I caught live, and I was like, what's going on? Like, it's just too much going on. So honestly, that was what really had me unsure of how the verdict was going to go, because I know, when you were like, like they don't play about witness tampering.
Right. And I think that was probably the one thing that that would have led the jury to be like, oh, I don't know. But I'm going to tell you, for those of you guys watching from Insta, head over to the YouTube channel. If you run back to the beginning of this live, I actually give a case breakdown of the most interesting, the facts, the evidence. I actually do that for like the first 30 minutes to the hour of this video. So you can get that anything you're missing there. But thank you guys so much for joining us. I had such a good time, and I hope you have a great evening.
Thanks, Symone.
You have a good one. All right, y'all. Take care. It's your legal bestie, attorney Symone. And this was Girl, Is That Legal?